So, we are back. We went through the Street Fighter 3 generation of Akuma. Not many games here, right? Not a ton. You would think that there's a massive legacy to Akuma in the Street Fighter 3 series, but there's really not. There's only 3 games, so it's New Generation, Second Impact, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And New Generation, Akuma was just missing. It was like the first iteration of this game. It was 1997, and there was already several things missing from New Gen that would later be added in Second Impact, much less Third Strike. A lot of characters weren't there, you know, things like that. Urien wasn't in New Gen. Hugo wasn't in New Gen. So Akuma was one of the new characters that they added to the game. And this version of Akuma is pretty wild. Arguably one of the highest tier Akumas, maybe throughout most of the games we've played so far. You know, albeit not ST Akuma and shit like that. The Second Impact Akuma is one of the better characters in the game from what I recall. There is a pretty finite list of really good top tiers in Second Impact. Believe it or not, Sean is one of them, Ibuki's one of them, and Akuma is one of them. I can't remember the order, and the order has probably changed quite a bit over the years, but Akuma's mad good in this game, and it mostly boils down to his ridiculous stun ability. There's a visible stun bar in Third Strike, and I'm sorry, in Second Impact and Third Strike, and you can manipulate it and obviously see how close you are to stun, and on almost any two-touch situation, Akuma's getting a stun. And you are dead after that. His damage is also ridiculous, and he's quite good. He's a mobile asshole because his dive kick is insane. Damn it, bro. Wow. You should win. We were talking about how even Alpha 2 Akuma dive kick is really crazy. This one is something special. It doesn't matter where you hit it, at the head or the feet, anything. Depending on where it lands, it just does a ton of hit stun, a ton of block stun. You just have to eat this shit. So Akuma dive kick spam, even if you parry it, from what I understand, there's not a direct response. It is gross, and it makes the character ridiculously good and almost safe on most approach he has. And he also has a friggin', you know, air fireball to cover a lot of his aerial approach as well. Akuma's damn good in this game. And we messed around with a couple of things, just trying to see how ridiculous he gets. And yes, with some Tatsu loops, with some juggle potential, he is getting, off of one dive kick, 75% stun. Meaning that the next throw, potentially, could stun most of the cast in the game. But most of the cast in the game has varying stun bars. So if you're like Ryu, maybe you're going to survive it. But if you're almost anybody else, you are effing dead. Uh-oh. The interesting thing about Second Impact is that we also get Shin Akuma. There's not a ton of secret fights in the Street Fighter 3 series. Q is one of the big ones. He's like the mystery character of Third Strike. But Second Impact does have a Shin Akuma / Akuma fight, but you can also play as Shin Akuma, meaning you get the double air fireball, all this wild stuff. But between Shin Akuma and regular Akuma, there is something greatly missing that most previous versions of Akuma did have. And that is the Demon Flip, or the Fleeman Dip. And Demon Flip now has weirdly turned into a fireball forward motion with kick. And he does a goof roll. And I mean a goof roll in the most honest way possible. This shit is useless. It is, you don't get anything out of it. He just does a tiny crappy like Ken from, I'd say, fairly close to what Ken does in like Alpha 2 and shit. It's sort of like that. And Akuma has had rolls in other games that we've run into. This one is notoriously bad. I don't like it. You know, it's one of the things that makes Akuma in this game not as fully kitted. It would be nice to have a demon flip with a command grab of some kind or something of that nature, but he just doesn't get that. But it doesn't, you know, affect the fact that Second Impact is a damn fun game. It's just not the refined game that we're all familiar with. It's not the game that we can go back and be like, oh yeah, so many people played Third Strike that when you go back to a game like New Generation or Second Impact. There is such a disparity between the two. Second Impact is a much better game than New Generation is, and Third Strike is an exponentially better game. Feeling, sound, everything than Second Impact. So of course, when I first even touch the character in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, it's like, whoa, oh yeah, dude, this feels right. Like everything, of course, to me, I put like the most time into this game of any fighting game. Everything just feels natural and normal, and things just work and they cancel appropriately, and it's like, ah, it's like a breath of fresh air. Akuma is a ton of fun in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. In fact, for many people, somebody made this comparison. When you think of Akuma, which version of Akuma do you think of? Do you think of like Street Fighter 4 Akuma? You probably don't think of Street Fighter 5 Akuma. I doubt many people think of Street Fighter 5 Flower Akuma. Maybe you think of Tekken 7. Maybe you think of Alpha 2. Personally, I've always thought of Akuma as ST Akuma, his like, you know, legendary like back shot with the shoosh. Don't take that out of context. When you think of Akuma, what's the first version that comes to mind? To be honest, ST. To be real, since I'm ancient, when I think of Akuma, I think of the Super Turbo box art Akuma. The back shot of him, Akuma's legendary back shots from Super Turbo. And he is, that imagery of him is burned into my brain. Like that version of Akuma, like the whole goddamn pose, that's the one that I always think of. But a lot of people think of Third Strike, and I've heard this over the years. In fact, I will say for many years, I thought Akuma in Third Strike was the most fun version of Akuma by like a long shot. That what they did with him in this game makes him easily one of the most enjoyable and fun feeling characters in the entire game. But he's mad unique. In Second Impact and Third Strike, the Street Fighter 3 series was the first series to introduce EX moves, right? You can use a little bit of meter, and you get an EX move for all your special attacks. Akuma does not have access to this shit in Second Impact or Third Strike. Maybe the reason is that his normal attacks, his cancelability into specials, his supers are all hella good. Maybe that is the case. But Akuma does not get access to this universal mechanic that the rest of the characters do. Damn, this feels fucking amazing, dude. Holy shit, compared to what I just played. Okay, here we go. Kakata Koyo, you piece of shit. It makes up for it in several ways. Akuma is a mad offensive psychopath in 3S, and his demon flip shenanigans are now more powerful than they've ever been before, and you really gotta hold this shit. I tell you what, doing light Tatsu, heavy punch cancel into demon flip madness is a legit strategy that you're always going to have to deal with, because parrying dive kick and the reward you get after parrying dive kick, even if you do in Third Strike, is not great. So even if you're on the offensive, man, or trying to be on the defensive against Akuma's offense, dealing with demon flip shenanigans is some of the best, quote unquote, I'd guess like vortexy sort of, what's the best way to describe Akuma mix in this game? It's different than what the majority of characters go for. It definitely is. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, because his offense is not like other characters. It forces you to truly make these guesses when he's going to be going into shit. It's unique. Like no other character sort of plays the game like this. He puts you into a fucking Akuma blender that no other character, I believe, in the roster does. Everybody else sort of has these things that they can, like, you know, Chun-Li can outzone you with powerful meter. Yoon build his super and then just become a god during it. This guy truly like vortexes the shit out of you, which is fun, you know? It's a fun version of Akuma. Oh shit. Okay, it's not against the humans, so it's okay. Ow, fucker. Ow, big fucker. Ow, big fucker. Only other thing about these characters that I like is that Demon is combo intuable now. On certain ranges of certain attacks, you can do like a standing heavy kick and combo directly into the Raging Demon, which in many situations before has not existed. Also, the cancel of Demon is gross in Second Impact and especially Third Strike, and there's a reason for that. The majority of Akuma's normal commands can be Kara inputted, and that means that you can take a normal, input the Raging Demon during that normal, and the demon's coming out. So for a lot of Akuma's attacks, for example, this one will piss you off, is a sweep. If you block a sweep in Third Strike, what is one of the best punishes? To sweep back. Especially against Shotos, sweep versus sweep usually just nets you, oh, it's a great poke, but if it misses, you know, you get a knockdown. If it doesn't, it's blocked, you punish them with a sweep. But not against Akuma. If you try to punish sweep with sweep, Akuma will cancel the last frames of his fucking sweep into demon, and as you're like, I'm gonna get the punish, and you teleport your ass forward and grab them. It is disgusting. The same thing happens on parry, where Akuma has this unique ability to cancel demon after a lot of his parries. So even if you parry something big on Akuma and then go for a punish, if the Akuma player is good enough and responsive enough, no kidding, you can just input demon during the parry, and they're gonna try to punish you after the parry, and bam. I think Raging Demon might have some of the best utility ever of most Akumas in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. The demon gets a lot more uses overall because there's like 2 different demons in Street Fighter 4 and when we move into the future. But I think the practicality and the usage of Raging Demon in such a wide variety of situations in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is insane. And the amount of demon setups and, you know, overhead cancel demon, all these things are mad powerful. So for anybody that's like a Raging Demonaholic, and there were several of them in the arcades that I went to back in the day, and I fought against J.R. Rodriguez enough to get Raging Demoned for the rest of my life. This is like the premium Akuma. It's the best version of Akuma if you love the Raging Demon, at least at this point in 1999. Oh! Okay, first try, not bad. Got lucky. He chose to do at close to death the stupid ass meteor super. The only last thing we got to talk about is a legendary move that Akuma gets, and you first get the hint of it, which is the Kongou Kokuretsu Zan, which is also known as KKZ. And at the end of Second Impact, Akuma effectively destroys a mountain with this attack, but you don't get to use it in Second Impact. In Third Strike, it's given to him. It costs all of his bar. It's effectively like a new demon, but it doesn't act like a Raging Demon. He just slams the ground and a massive shockwave comes out. The practicality of this move is pretty big because it also crushes throws. You can combo into it after a light Tatsu and a jab if you have the right link timing. It took us a while to eventually find this. And if you try to parry it on the early frames, it's technically unparryable from what I remember. So it's a legit good move. It's also like a show-off move. This attack would later be influenced in a lot of other Street Fighter games, including now Street Fighter 6, because even Akuma's critical art in regular level 3 is effectively a KKZ, but just shot from different angles, and he's doing sort of different things with it. But if he does land the attack, the big shockwave happens, and, you know, you get effectively what Akuma slapping the ground and causing this meteoric strike originated from. It sort of started in this game. God, this is fucking hard. Cool. You win. Cool. Either way, there's a lot of Akuma origin stuff, and I think these versions of Akuma are some of the most fun you could have, especially Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And shocking. I mean, I'm shocked that things are insanely fun in Third Strike. You know, there's some characters in this game that are clearly struggles, and you'll have to work 10 to 15 to 20 times harder than some of the other roster. But the best part about Third Strike, even if you're playing Akuma, who is pretty damn good in this game, is that there's always a chance. And that's the cool thing about the way the systems work together in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and the thing that I love the most about it, which makes me feel like it's the best fighting game ever, you always feel like if you just try really goddamn hard, there is still a chance. So Akuma's at the bottom of the ocean, and he lifts up like an old freighter, and he decides to like blow it up. He's just looking for shit to chop. Jesus. Oh, does he do big Tatsu to this one? Yeah, before I told you, before he wrecked a mountain. Now he wrecked a big ass ship. That'd be how he do it.